Congratulations to JoJo Diaz for his victory tonight over Javier Fortuna via unanimous decision. Just like I predicted on split decision, JoJo Diaz, inside game, body punches, and accuracy, along with his pressure, broke down Javier Fortuna, granting JoJo Diaz the victory. Which is exactly why when I had Devin Haney on split decision this week, I only asked him about JoJo Diaz because to me, it was already a full-on conclusion that he was going to win the fight, since stylistically, I couldn't see the fight playing out any other way. Plus, based on Javier Fortuna history, even if he would have had won, most likely he would have continued to avoid Devin Haney, since he already turned down a Devin Haney fight on 3 different occasions. And this is according to Fortuna's own promoter, Samson, which I'm gonna play the audio at the end of the video just to back up my facts with receipts. However, let the zone commentators tell it. Todd Grisham and Chris Mannix, who are racially biased, they continue to push their racist agenda on the zone without any shame whatsoever, since they came out of the closet a long time ago. On one hand, Chris Mannix lied on air, claiming that Fortuna is the boogeyman and have been avoided. Then when he names the fighters that have avoided Fortuna, he doesn't name Ryan Garcia, who just pulled anxiety, who was supposed to be here tonight instead of JoJo Diaz. Absolutely not, since Ryan got the complexion for the connection to get the ultimate protection. Instead, he names Devin Haney, who got the complexion for the neglection. That's right. He names the A-class boogeyman, Devin Haney, who have the whole division shook. Chris Mannix has the audacity to claim Devin Haney is avoiding Fortuna, even though Fortuna turned down a Devin Haney fight on 3 different occasions. So it's Fortuna who's ducking the champion Devin Haney. But Chris Mannix is so racially biased that he has the audacity to lie on air on a DAZN fighter in Devin Haney, a fighter that fights on his own network. This is equivalence of Chris Mannix falsely stating that Canelo Alvarez is avoiding a Caleb Plant fight. Chris Mannix's racist self will never dare to trash a fighter on the hope list, especially lie on their name the way he does with Devin Haney, who's on the coincidental list. And you best believe all these red flags by Chris Mannix is not a coincidence. Like I said before, he will never say Canelo Alvarez is avoiding Caleb Plant. For one, because Canelo has the complexion for the protection. For 2, because it's not true, since it's Caleb Plant who have been avoiding Canelo, just like Javier Fortuna have been avoiding Devin Haney. This is equivalence of what Chris Mannix did tonight. If you may wonder why Chris Mannix did it besides being racist, especially when you factor in that he works for Devin Haney and Fortuna is not even a DAZN fighter. Well, the bigger picture is to push his racist agenda, which is a setup to give JoJo Diaz more credit for fighting and beating Javier Fortuna. However, that's not even the bigger picture. Chris Mannix and Todd Grisham, they both said on air during and after the fight that they would love to see JoJo Diaz versus Ryan Garcia next. That will be a marketable fight, completely ignoring Devin Haney. Now keep in mind, this fight is for a title eliminator for the interim title, where the winner is going to be mandated to fight Devin Haney in 90 days. This fight is for the mandatory for Devin Haney for the WBC interim title that's vacant because Ryan Garcia pulled anxiety in order to avoid Fortuna, since Ryan knew once he get past Fortuna, Devin Haney is next, so he has nowhere to hide or run. So JoJo Diaz earned his position for a title shot to fight Devin Haney, but they rather him fight Ryan Garcia, who's still fighting anxiety as we speak to this day. You see DAZN racist commentators, Todd Grisham and Chris Mannix, pave the way for JoJo Diaz to duck Devin Haney. That's pretty much what they doing. You see Chris Mannix ask JoJo Diaz right after the fight, who you want to fight next, instead of asking him what's already set in stone by the WBC, which that question should have been, are you going to fight Devin Haney next, since you just fought for a title eliminator for Devin Haney WBC title? Then you hear JoJo Diaz call out Ryan Garcia first, who's on an anxiety vacation still, then gives Devin Haney, the champion, an honorable mention, naming him second, just to name drop Devin Haney to say, yeah, I'm not ducking Devin Haney, I named Devin Haney, when the champion Devin Haney should be first. Ryan Garcia shouldn't be in the conversation. This man got anxiety issues. Can we at least see Ryan knock out anxiety first? A few seconds later, you see Chris Mannix raise his tail, go to Oscar De La Hoya and say, well, JoJo Diaz named Ryan Garcia first. Can we see that fight next? Completely ignoring Devin Haney, as if he don't even exist. As if this wasn't a title eliminator for Devin Haney title. I'm telling you, the racism in boxing is at an all-time high. And DAZN better fire these commentators who are racially driven that continues to ruin the DAZN platform. This is the highest form of segregation. It feels like in the sport of boxing, we back in the 1900s. Just like in the 1900s, they did not allow certain individuals with the wrong complexion to eat at the restaurants. Is equivalence of what DAZN and many old media racist members are doing today. They are trying to divide the sport. They do not want to invite fighters on the coincidental list to the party. They are not allowed to eat at the same restaurant that fighters on the hope list feast at. JoJo Diaz, Ryan Garcia, Oscar Valdez, Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, Canelo Alvarez, and the list goes on and on and on. These fighters on the hope list, they have the complexion for the protection. They are the only ones that are allowed to eat at the boxing restaurant, while the fighters on the coincidental list are banned from Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney, Andre, etc., etc., etc. Why? Because they got the complexion for the neglection, which sadly for Devin Haney, he happens to be on that coincidental list. It's crazy because you see when Devin Haney became Vasyl Lomachenko mandatory, Lomachenko went from Loma to Nomachenko. He was forced to give up his belt because he was ducking Devin Haney. Meanwhile, when Fortuna was Devin Haney mandatory, how come Devin Haney is still the champion to this day, and Fortuna lost his position as the number one mandatory to Ryan Garcia? I got the answer for you. Because Fortuna petitioned to fight Luke Campbell and Linares instead of Devin Haney, while Devin Haney petitioned to fight him. And that's a fact. Just to show you guys how racially driven and how much of a liar Chris Mannix is. With that being stated, subscribe below and click on the notification bell to be continued on the next episode of AKHi, TV. Peace, and I'm on to the next one.
Business. I met with Sampson when Devin was really young. Sampson was interested in Devin, right? As we moved up the ladder, Javier Fortuna being one of Sampson's champions, coming up the ladder, I said to Sampson, I said, let's make it happen. No way you get Javier Fortuna. I said, okay. This is the Showbox days. This is the old Showbox days coming up, right? So we come up the ladder, we get in the WBC tournament. I say, I got him, right? No, you don't get Javier Fortuna. and then listen, when I seen you knocking on our door, I say, great Father of God, thank you. The joy, the bells are ringing because we got a credible opponent that we've been looking for. Have I said the story right, Mr. Sampson?
I need to tell you the truth, like always I talk. It's precise exactly what happened. And I have to tell you that I stayed with him probably 1 hour drinking coffee. And he say, my guy, Henny, it will be one of the superstars. And in one moment I want to sign it, but you know, sometimes I say, sometimes people doesn't need a promoter. And the father that I had the most respect for you, he say, you know what, I will get there. And I'll be honest with you, that he got it much more like I thought. Because Javier Fortuna, he never make the money that this kid made. And the father guided him. I mean, I believe I cannot do the same work like he did. So my congratulations to you.
Thank
and
you,
now
sir.
public, I'm telling you, Javier Fortuna is ready, willing to fight. And I don't ask you the excuse of the money. Let's have the same thing of the last fight that you pay the Cuban guy.
Is Javier in the Dominican Republic
Samson.
or is he in America?
In this moment, it's in Dominican Republic.
Is he going to be able to make it over here? No travel ban?
Well, hopefully not. But the situation now is the visa. He renewed the contract, and the visa will be ready for February. So it's perfect. April. It cannot be before April anyway.
We don't want no excuses out of you, Mr. Sampson. I've been looking for you for years and years and years. You deliver Javier Fortuna.
Listen, you get it. Finally, you got me. Like I'm like a mouse next to a big cat. I cannot run anymore.
Hey, I love you, man.
Muy bueno.
Hey, I appreciate you.
You know what? Let me tell you. I believe that Javier Fortuna, he will knock the shit out of Henry.
Okay.
And if I feel that I cannot beat him, like Mr. Lopez asked for $10 million,
Oh.
that's the reason that he believes he cannot beat Henry. That is the reason he asked for $10 million.
I'll tell you what then. How about this then, Mr. Sampson? I'll give you the exact money.